Hi, and welcome to this edition of Career Gyan. In today's session, I'm going to talk about the discipline of human resources. It's a very common field after management, but it's also one that leaves students perplexed because most of the time हमारा impression यही होता है कि HR मतलब थोड़ा सा not so preferable. But in this session, I'm going to break that myth. Before I go ahead, my name is Anand Venkateshan. I have done my MBA from IIM Bangalore, and I've also done my engineering before that. I have about 10 years of experience in mentoring students through a variety of entrance exams, helping them clear interviews, mock GDs, and most of the other selection processes. Do join us on social media. You can see there are that we're doing plenty of such interactive, such informative videos on YouTube and other social media. So do follow us. Cat for MBA is the name of our channel on both YouTube and Telegram. Right. So on to today's session, human resources. Well, I think first and foremost we need to sort of correct this impression people have that human resources is all about hiring and firing, and that's pretty much all that is done. So they're not important. The department of human resources is quite unimportant. This is like a myth. Well, it so happens that in quite a few companies, actually HR has a very important role to play, especially in today's day and age where information technology and data analytics is becoming more and more important, and these are firms where human resources plays a very important role, right? Not only does this department, not only does an HR manager help in hiring people, recruiting them, but I think some of the other areas that rarely find mention is the fact that it is the human resource department which tracks the performance of employees. This will obviously include the kind of metrics that can be used to benchmark performance and measure the same for every individual in a company, right? It also includes training because obviously in the field of information technology, as it is in most other fields, these are evolving, which means every day there is something new which is happening. Every year some new technology comes into play. So employees at the workplace have this constant need to be upskilling themselves to get better all the time, to learn new things. And so training and development is one key important aspect of human resource, as is to conduct timely research, to conduct to do studies and analyze those with regard to what are the latest trends, how can we tackle the various problems that employees face, how to keep them motivated, how to keep them energetic, and so on and so forth. And obviously all of this links back to the basic potential that this resource, humans, right, human capital has in a company. And most of the time the idea is to nurture talent and to make sure that this talent is worthy of occupying leadership positions. In fact, in most firms, in most companies and industries and sectors across the world, there are specific, there are organizations that deal with specifically leadership level roles, right, where people are groomed, identified and groomed for leading companies, leading entire companies, if not specific departments or divisions, right? So you can see that human resources is quite a broad field, and it encompasses plenty of sectors, industries and domains. Well, what exactly do you study in the field of human resources? Well, most HR, most HR work, most HR, hiring happens in companies which have labor laws. So studying industrial relations, study of labor law, study of basic theories of human resource management, how to measure it, how to get the best out of it. These form the bedrock of the study in human resources, as obviously is the science of how to improve productivity, how to improve performance of employees, how to empower them, how to make sure that they feel involved in the decision making process, followed by obviously feedback loops. Do they have any grievances, can we address them, how does how does feedback percolate all the way up the management hierarchy. And finally, the most important thing, which is year on year appraisal, maybe not year on year, but every periodic appraisals that help every employee assess his or her performance vis-a-vis preset targets, and also to track progress at regular intervals, so that if you're heading in a right direction for yourself, your personal growth, as well as that of the companies, right? So plenty of aspects that human resource encompasses. It's a very exciting field. Obviously, there are some sectors, some industries where human resources have a much more key role to play. So, for example, if you talk about an investment bank, or a hedge fund, or a mutual fund, then probably human resources doesn't have as important a role to play. But when it comes to some industries like information technology, or or even factories and production firms, in such firms the HR actually does have a very important role to play, because handling the labors, handling the trade unions, handling workers, and keeping them motivated, keeping them trained, keeping them tracking their performance at a regular basis is sort of critical for the company's health. So at one end is sectors where HR has a key role to play. At the other end is human resource as an organization itself. There are many companies like Randstad, or other such firms which which basically deal with HR consultancy, human resource consultancy. Basically, the idea is to have preset benchmarks, is to have frameworks by which you can analyze how well the human capital of a particular firm is being nurtured, how well does a company capitalize on its own human capital, and what processes should be set into place for in the medium and the long term in order to derive most value out of it, right? So those are specific. There are specific HR consultancy firms which sort of dabble in such domains. Very exciting domains, if you ask me. Cutting edge research as well as application in various sectors, right? The typical roles, though, in the field of human resources, as you can see on the screen here, it is again quite variable, because it varies from sector to sector. While in some companies, in some sectors, you could be called the manager who deals with compensation, or the manager who deals with employee relations in a factory. Maybe an HR generalist whose probably main role is to analyze how is the hierarchy within the company, how what kind of processes can be put into place in order to generate the most out of available resources, etc. There are technical directors who will focus on training and development, on ensuring that employees are up abreast of the latest technologies and the latest sort of information in their technical fields. Placement managers obviously deal with outbound outreach programs into various campuses, interacting with campuses, trying to find the best fit from campus hires. Training and relations manager obviously can also get also involved with summer internships and various such internship led programs, which might actually lead to valuable hires, and so on and so forth. So many roles abound. And some of the latest trends now, any discussion on human resources would be incomplete without a talk on how the recent sort of evolution in data science and analytics is impacting the field of human resources. Because the idea is that today data and technology can play two key roles in making in human resources. One is to identify, we talked about performance matrices. So how do you measure an employee's productivity, and can that be automated? So what kind of real-time data can be captured, which would essentially help a company judge or take stock of its performance, right? Of because at one end is the fact that there are quarterly or half yearly or yearly appraisals that are more that are structure driven, and will be conducted by people within the organization. But can there be tools, can there be can the use of technology provide us data on employees which can be used to track the performance, to benchmark it, and also to take corrective action, right? And this doesn't just extend to specifically the employees, but also to the organization as a whole. So, things like the gender equality index in an organization, the kind of attrition levels that that are prevalent. Does that vary by department? Does that vary by designation? Does that vary by sex or age group? Right. So these kind of real time analysis can be carried out if indeed that data is captured in real time. So at one end are these dashboards that can be created on the basis of data, and at the other end, right, is the use of data analytics, is the use of data science, not just in recruitment, because that plays a key role at the recruitment stage. How do I judge a candidate? What kind of information will help me figure out the candidate's potential? Would that be based on information presented on the CV? Can I gather other information, maybe by way of an assessment test, maybe by way of social media profile, maybe? So there are these disparate sets of data sets that exist for every individual, whether it's on platforms like LinkedIn, or assessment platforms, or or even the test score itself, right? So can all of these discrete sets of information be combined in order to create this wholesome picture of a candidate, which can then be compared across the board, so that you can, I mean, the objective is obviously to find the best fit for any organization. So it's a very exciting field, data analytics. And not only is it used to just used at the stage of recruitment, but it's a continuous process, which means that while it does impact recruitment, it will also influence the training journey of an employee. How many intervals must training happen? How do you measure the change in productivity of an employee after a training program? How do you appraise the candidate? What kind of checks and balances do you put in place that will ensure that he or she meets the company guidelines? Is there does the carrot or the stick approach work, right? Which one works? Does the availability of incentives motivate him or her more, or is it the fear of retrenchment, fear of losing the job, or other such fears? Which of these is more effective? So a lot of these key decisions can be answered by data, and by using data science, by layering data science. So the latest trends are to get hired in the fields of data analytics, in human resource management, right? So and I'm very excited about the kind of trends that this presents. So if I was in your shoes, remember, if you intend to pursue a program in HR, then tier 1 schools where HR is offered would be something like an XLRI, or an MDI in Gurgaon, or maybe even a TIS for social sciences and human resources. And clearly the outcomes out of some of these schools will be vastly different. The kinds of opportunities you could get hold on, the kind of research that happens is going to be cutting edge. Is going to be really the top notch ones in India. And it obviously, if you do the same specialization in HR in some of the middle ranked firms, middle tier B schools, then it's going to be more more, let's say, procedural work, more hiring, firing, recruitment, training kind of work, rather than something which is redefining the industry norm or industry paradigm itself, right? So yeah, just keep that in mind when you consider human resources. I hope this was useful. This was useful in giving you at least a perspective on how what HR is, how is it evolving, and what kind of opportunities it presents. To keep learning, obviously, do visit us. Do visit the Unacademy app. There is plenty to sort of gain from a Plus subscription, and this doesn't just extend to learning from from the comfort of your home, but also in benchmarking yourself against other students, and much more. Many more opportunities exist. So do, install the app from Play Store, and once you download it and try out some of the special classes, the free trial sessions, do upgrade to one of the Plus subscriptions. You can see that, the 12-month or the 24-month plans are the most popular, the most effective ones. And you can get a 10%. Don't forget to use my referral code AV01, because that gives you a 10% discount on any of these plans. And well, what can I say? I think, getting onto the Unacademy platform will really, really give you that edge that you need. Well, on that note, I hope that you guys liked this session. Do press the, like button. If you think that this was useful, do share it widely in your circles. Press the subscribe to our channel, Unacademy Cat for MBA. Do press the bell icon. And in case you want regular updates about the kind of content that we are creating, there's a YouTube channel dedicated to Unacademy, that's Cat for MBA. And there's a Telegram channel also dedicated specifically to my programs, and you can check it out at Anand for Quant. That's Unacademy_Anand Venkateshan. Thanks a lot, guys. All the best, and hope to catch you very, very soon. Bye bye.